everybody. This is Abhishek Chinchalkar here. I'll be taking today's webinar, which is on the application of single candlestick patterns. Before we start with the webinar, I'll just briefly introduce myself. I joined FIRES recently, wherein I work as the head of education. My primary responsibilities at FIRES includes creating quality, value-driven content that is relating to trading in general. I publish my content on the FIRES School of Stocks platform, which most of you are aware of. I publish content that relates to technical analysis, derivatives, intermarket analysis, and stuff like that. Briefly talking about my education, I completed my MBA from SP Chain School of Global Management. Besides MBA, I'm a CMT charter holder, which I'm currently practicing since the start of my career, almost 10 years back. Speaking about my work experience, I have nearly 10 years of experience in the financial markets with expertise in technical analysis, intermarket linkages, and derivatives. So that's a small bio about me. So in today's webinar, this is the first of the 3 to 4 series candlestick webinars that we will be holding over the next few weeks. Today's agenda will be to introduce Japanese candlesticks and talk about the application of single Japanese candlestick patterns. With that said, I'll begin my webinar by introducing what Japanese candlesticks are. As you can see in this side, the image on the right shows what a Japanese candlestick looks like. A Japanese candlestick, just like other charts such as bar chart, displays 4 different pieces of information for each period. They are the open, the high, the low, and the close. A good news about Japanese candlestick pattern is that it can be applied across various time frames, be it the intraday chart such as 1 second chart, 1 minute chart, 15-minute chart, etc. Be it the hourly chart, be it the daily or weekly chart, or be it the long-term chart such as monthly, quarterly, and yearly chart. Just like bar charts, candle chart is applicable across various different time frames. That's the best news. Now let me briefly talk about the structure of a Japanese candlestick. Now this is how a Japanese candlestick looks like. A Japanese candlestick can be split into 2 parts: a bullish candle and a bearish candle. Uh, as I said earlier, it shows you 4 different pieces of information, namely the open, the high, the low, and the close. Uh, a Japanese candlestick comprises of 2 components. One is the real body, which is the colored portion that appears somewhere in the center. It resembles the shape of a candle and hence the term candlestick. Now, above and below the real body are wicks, which are also known as shadows. The entire structure, that is the real body and the upper and lower shadow combined, represents one candle. The top of the candlestick, which is the top of the upper shadow, represents the high for a period. The bottom of the candlestick, which is the bottom of the lower wick, represents the low for a specific period. The top of the body could either represent the close or the open, while the bottom of the body could represent either the close or the open. Now, what separates a bullish candle from a bearish candle is where the closing price for a period is relative to that period's open. If the closing price is above the open, then that candlestick is bullish. As you can see, on the image on the left over here. Here the closing price is above the open, and hence this candlestick is bullish. Whenever the close is above the open, the body of the candle is colored either using green color or using blue color as shown over here. My personal preference is using blue, that's why I've put blue body over here. On the other hand, when the closing price for a particular period is below the open, as is the case over here, then that candle is a bearish candle. A bearish candle indicates a close that is below the open for a particular period. So let me just give you a small example. Let us say we are looking at the daily chart. So on the daily chart, the top of each candle will represent the highest price at which the security traded for that day, whereas the bottommost portion of the candle will represent the lowest price at which the security traded for that day. If the candle is bullish, then the top of the real body, which is this portion, will represent the closing price for that day, while the bottom of the real body will represent the opening price for that day. In case of monthly chart, the top of the candle will represent the highest price for which the security traded that month. The bottom of the candle will represent the lowest price for which the security traded that month. The top of the real body will represent the closing price for that month, and the bottom of the real body will represent the opening price for that month. That is how a bullish candlestick is structured. Same is the case with a bearish candlestick as well. The only difference is that the opening for a bearish candlestick is above while the closing is below. So this is how each candlestick is structured. Each candlestick represents the information for that specific period, be it a day, a week, an hour, a quarter, and so on. Now this is how a candlestick looks like when compared to a bar chart. Both candlestick chart and bar chart provide the same piece of information, that is the open, the high, the low, and the close for each period. The only difference that separates a candle chart from a bar chart is how the data is presented. As you can see from this slide over here, a candle chart is much more visually appealing than a bar chart. Because of its visual appearance, a candlestick will be open to various different patterns that can be analyzed across time frames. Again, I'll reiterate, candle and bar provide the same piece of information. It's just the way each chart is structured. Now, this is how a candlestick chart looks like on a real-time basis. Now, this is the daily chart of the Nifty 50 index. This is the daily candlestick chart with each candle representing information for each period. That is the open, the high, the low, and the close for each period. Now, this dates back to September of last year. So over here we have data for almost a year. Now, let's compare a candle chart to a bar chart. This is how a bar chart looks like. Again, both charts represent Nifty 50 index, and for the same time frame as well as for the same period. The only difference is look at how visually appealing candlestick chart is compared to a bar chart. Now, because of its visual appearance, there are plenty of different candlestick patterns that can be gleaned from a candlestick chart. The agenda for today is to discuss about single candlestick patterns. So some of the key patterns that we will be discussing in today's webinar include hammer and hanging man line, inverted hammer and shooting star, belt hold line, marubozu, doji, and spinning top. So let us get started with hammer and hanging man line. Now this slide over here shows hammer and hanging man line. As you can see on the image on the right, the image that is on the left represents a hammer, while the image on the right represents a hanging man. Now let me briefly describe about each of these patterns, starting with hammer first. A hammer, as you can see, is a bullish reversal pattern. What does it exactly mean by it is a bullish reversal pattern? It's just that a hammer appears after the end of a downtrend and it kind of signals a change in trend from down to up, and hence it's named a bullish reversal pattern. This one candlestick that you can see over here resembles a hammer, and hence the name hammer. Now, in case of a hammer candlestick pattern, the real body is situated at the top of the trading range. So this is a blue colored real body, meaning it's a bullish candle. That is, the closing is above the opening. Now, in this particular case, the top of the body, which also happens to be the top of the candle, represents the close, while this region, the bottom of the bottom of the real body represents the open. Now, as you can see from here, the real body is situated at the top of the candle and is somewhere around one third the size of the entire candle. So as you can see, there is hardly any upper shadow. In fact, the closing price is more or less near the high of the period. And then you have a long lower shadow. The lower shadow is typically somewhere around two thirds or 67% of the size of the entire candle. So talking about the psychology over here, the market was in a downtrend. Price opened at a particular level on the hammer day. It fell sharply, but then there was a very strong recovery in price, and price managed to close near the high of the day. So it indicates a very sudden and swift change in market sentiment, a scenario wherein uh, a scenario wherein the bears were completely dominated by the bulls for that particular period. Now, if the coming now in the coming period, that is in the coming candles, if the high of the hammer is broken without the low of the hammer being broken, then it indicates at a change in trend from down to up. So how do you trade a hammer pattern? Once a hammer pattern is printed, let us say on a daily time frame, that is on the daily chart, on the next chart, if the low of the hammer does not break, and if price breaks above the high of the hammer, then it indicates a change in trend from down to up. It signals that a trader can buy once the high of the hammer is broken, keeping a stop loss below the low of the hammer. So that is how you typically trade a hammer pattern. Now the opposite of hammer is the hanging man. A hanging man is a bearish reversal pattern which appears after a prolonged rally in price. As you can see, a hammer and a hanging man are essentially identical in shape. The only difference is that hammer appears after a downtrend and is a bullish reversal pattern, while a hanging man appears after an uptrend and is a bearish reversal pattern. Uh, Talking about the psychology of this pattern, after an uptrend, price opened with a gap kind of situation. It, but then instead of continuing higher, there was significant selling pressure that came in during the day. By the end of the trading session, however, price managed to close above the midway point of the entire candle. So basically, once this candle is printed, it kind of is signaling uncertainty because the body of the candle is red, meaning the closing is below the open, and the body of the candle is also small. As you can see, in a hanging man, the body of the candle is usually one third the size of the entire candle, whereas the lower shadow is typically two thirds the size of the entire candle. In the coming days, if the high of the hanging man is not broken and if the low of the hanging man breaks, then it kind of signals a change in trend from up to down. So the way you trade this pattern is on the day the hanging man is printed, you would not place a trade, but on the following day, if the low of the hanging man breaks, then you place a sell, keeping a stop loss above the high of the hanging man. So that's how this pattern is traded. The next two patterns that we would be talking about is inverted hammer and shooting star. Now, inverted hammer is nothing but hammer turned upside down. In case of inverted hammer, it's a bullish reversal pattern just like a hammer is. But the difference is that in case of inverted hammer, the real body is situated at the bottom end of the trading range. So price opened with a gap down, but then there came a strong recovery. But then again, by the end of the trading session, price fell sharply to close just above the open. So again, as you can see, the real body is roughly one third the size of the entire candle, while the upper shadow is two-thirds the size of the entire candle. How to trade this pattern? In the subsequent candle, if the high of the inverted hammer is broken, you buy by placing a stop loss below the low of the inverted hammer. The fourth pattern is the shooting star, which is again a bearish reversal pattern that appears after an uptrend. A shooting star also has real body that's situated at the bottom end of the trading range, and that real body is approximately one third the size of the entire candle, while the upper shadow is roughly two-thirds the size of the entire candle. So it indicates a scenario wherein the buyers were not in control for that particular day, and there was a sudden shift in market sentiment from a bulls driven market to a session wherein bears outpowered the bulls. So in the subsequent candle, if the low of the shooting star is broken, then it indicates at lower prices in the time ahead. So a way to trade this pattern is you'll have to wait for the low of the shooting star to break, and once that break occurs, you sell by keeping a stop loss above the high of the shooting star. So as you can see from this, a hammer and an inverted hammer are bullish reversal patterns, whereas a hanging man and shooting star are bearish reversal patterns. Now let's for a minute compare hammer and inverted hammer. A hammer has real body that is situated at the top, whereas a inverted hammer has real body that is situated at the bottom. Now thinking about psychology, uh, hammer is a more powerful reversal pattern than an inverted hammer because the real body is situated at the top. It indicates a scenario wherein bears were in control for that particular period. On the other hand, if you look at inverted hammer, the real body is situated at the bottom. So it kind of gives you a feeling that the bears are probably still in control of the market. So it's not as strong a bullish reversal pattern as hammer is. The same is the case with hanging man and shooting star. In case of these patterns, you're looking for a bearish reversal, that is change in trend from up to down. Because of that, a shooting star is a more bearish reversal pattern because of the fact that it has real body that is situated at the bottom, which kind of indicates that sellers were in total control for this particular period. But if you look at hanging man, the real body is situated at the top, so it kind of gives you a feeling that sellers are still not in much control. So between the two, a shooting star is a much more powerful bearish reversal pattern than a hanging man is. Now let us see how these patterns appear in real life. Now this is the chart of Nifty index, Nifty 50 index. It's the weekly chart. So each candle represents data for each week. That is, each candle represents the open, the high, the low, and the close for each week. Now at the extreme left, you can see a nice hanging man formed after a rally. Uh, this is the pattern that I'm talking about, hanging man. In the subsequent candle, that is in the subsequent week, the high of the hanging man was not broken, but the low of the hanging man broke. So that signals at a possible reversal from up to down. So once that happens, you could consider selling this underlying by keeping a stop loss above the high of the hanging man. In case the high of the hanging man breaks, then you exit your trade. So as we can see, in the next few weeks, there was a nice decline in Nifty. Then again, at the extreme right of the chart, you can again see another hanging man forming. Again, as you can see, the real body is situated at the top, and the real body is less than half the size of the total candle. Again, as you can see in the coming week, price did not break above the high of the hanging man, and the low of the hanging man was breached, post which there was a consolidation for 3 to 4 weeks before prices started falling sharply in the coming weeks. Now, this is the daily chart of Asian Paints. Over here, as you can see, a shooting star pattern formed after a slow and steady rally in the price of Asian Paints. The color of the shooting star preferably should be red. That is, the opening should be above the closing. But in this case, you have a closing that's above opening, but that's still okay. You can consider that pattern as well. In the subsequent day, as you can see, the high of the shooting star was not broken and the low was broken. So that kind of tells you to uh, probably place a sell order below the low of the shooting star as long as the high of the shooting star does not break. And as you can see, in the subsequent days, price fell a bit, then recovered, but again, price took resistance near the high of the shooting star and then fell sharply. So here is a situation wherein the high of the shooting star was not broken, and in the subsequent days, you have a scenario wherein the high of the shooting star acted as a resistance. So you have a former level that acted as a resistance going forward. So that's significant. Whenever a former resistance is not broken, and if price exhibits selling pressure, then it kind of signals at lower prices, which is what happened over here. Then this is the hourly chart of Britannia. As I said, candlestick patterns can be applied across different time frames. So we are drilling down from weekly to daily and now going to the hourly chart. Here is the hourly chart of Britannia. You can see a shooting star forming over here. You have a tall bullish candle and then a shooting star emerging for this particular hour. In the subsequent hours, the high of the in the subsequent hour, the high of the shooting star was not broken, and price fell lower. Now, as you can see, that downtrend ended with the appearance of a hammer, and the low of the hammer was not broken in the subsequent hours, and price rallied quite sharply in the next several hours. Now here another shooting star pattern formed, but as you can see, this pattern failed over here. The low of the shooting star was broken, but instead of price continuing lower, price started going higher, and the high of the shooting star was eventually broken. So this shooting star pattern was negated 3 to 4 hours later. So what this particular pattern signals is that candlestick patterns can and do will fail. You need to know where to exit your trade. So if you had placed a trade, if you had placed a sell order below the low of the shooting star and it got executed, but as you can see, price did not fall and instead it rallied. The moment the high of the shooting star was broken, it was a signal that it is better to exit this trade because the pattern has kind of failed. So if you see a particular Japanese candle forming and you trade based on that, but if that pattern does not work out as expected, then you must always consider exiting the pattern and waiting for more opportunities. Now here I'm showing the Nifty Pharma Index on the 10-minute time frame. Uh, Here was a decline in the Nifty Pharma Index, and that decline ended with the appearance of a small hammer, although not a classic, but it's still a small hammer because the real body is small and it is situated at the top end of the trading range. More importantly, in the subsequent candle, the low of the hammer was not broken and the high of the hammer was broken, and it led to a minor rally in the Nifty Pharma Index going forward. And again, as you can see at the top, this rally, this recovery in Nifty Pharma Index ended with the appearance of a shooting star. In the subsequent candle, the high of the shooting star was not broken while the low of the shooting star broke, and that signaled at lower prices in the Nifty Pharma Index in the subsequent several minutes. Remember, this is a 10-minute chart. Finally, now drilling down to extremely short time frame, that is the 1 minute chart. This is the chart of Hindalco on 1 minute time frame. Now here you have inverted hammer pattern that appeared after a decline in the price of Hindalco. Uh, in the subsequent candles, the low of the inverted hammer was not broken, while the high of the inverted hammer was broken. So that indicates that the downtrend, that this downtrend is possibly ended, and we could see higher prices going forward, which is what happened in the subsequent few minutes. So that's it about the hammer family, wherein we saw four single candlestick patterns: the hammer, the inverted hammer, the hanging man, and the shooting star. Hammer and inverted hammer are bullish reversal patterns, while shooting star and hanging man are bearish reversal patterns. Now we'll move to the next candlestick pattern, which is the belt hold line. Again, a belt hold line can be split into two parts. One is the bullish belt hold line, while the other is the bearish belt hold line. The pattern on the left shows how a bullish belt hold line looks like. So as I said, a bullish belt hold line is a bullish reversal pattern that appears after a decline in price. Now, when this candlestick forms, what happens is that price opens with a gap down, but then it does not fall further and rallies sharply over the course of the candle to close above the midpoint of the candle. So in case of a bullish belt hold line, you have an opening at or near the day's low, and then you have a strong rally during the day wherein the price closes in the upper half of the trading range, so somewhere above this. So as you can see, the price closed just below the high of the day. So this indicates at a strong change in sentiment from bearish to bullish. It indicates a period wherein sellers are no longer controlling the market, and buyers have returned with strong buying pressure. The opposite of the bullish belt hold line is the bearish belt hold line. Now, a bearish belt hold line is a bearish reversal pattern that appears after an uptrend. Now, on the period when a bearish belt hold line forms, what happens is that uh, uh, the price gaps up above the previous high, but then instead of continuing higher, the open itself kind of turns out to be the high of the period, and then you see a strong selling pressure that comes in. Uh, it's a pretty long red candle wherein the closing is well below the midpoint of the candle. Preferably, the closing is somewhere near the low of the candle. So it indicates a scenario wherein up till this point, buyers were in control because the price were marching higher. But on this particular point, sellers were in total domination. Looking at the size of the candlestick pattern, it indicates a scenario wherein the power has shifted from buyers to sellers. Now, how do you trade bullish and bearish belt hold line? Let's talk about bullish belt hold line first. Once a bullish belt hold line is printed, you wait for one or two candles to form. If in the subsequent candle the low of bullish belt hold line is not broken, and if price breaks above the high of the bullish belt hold line, then you place a buy, keeping a stop loss below the low of the bullish belt hold line, similar to what we saw in case of hammer and inverted hammer. Meanwhile, in case of bearish belt hold line, once a bearish belt hold line is printed, you wait for the next candle to form. If in the next candle, price fails to break above the high of the bearish belt hold line and instead breaks below the low of the bearish belt hold line, you place a sell below the low of the bearish belt hold line, keeping a stop loss above the high of this pattern. So that will be your stop loss. So that is how you essentially trade bullish and bearish belt hold liners. Now let us see how they look like in the real world. So this is the daily chart of Hindustan Unilever. Here, as you can see, you have a bearish belt hold line pattern wherein the open is near the high and the close is near the low of the day. Uh, this pattern, however, is not appearing after a strong rally. It's a very minor rally. So, if you ask about me, I would personally refrain from trading this pattern. But again, it depends on the risk appetite of traders. If you're a trader who believes in taking risk, then you could consider acting upon this pattern. But if you're a risk averse trader, then you would be better off not trading this pattern because it's not appearing after a strong uptrend. But then look at this, a bullish belt hold line formed a few days later. Now, this is a very classic bullish belt hold line because the opening is at or very near the low of the day. And then you had a very strong rally with price closing near the high. So you have a pretty tall bullish candle with the opening near the low and the closing just below the high. More importantly, in the subsequent day, price did not break below the low of the bullish belt hold line and instead broke above the high of the bullish belt hold line. So it's a very bullish signal. One good thing to note over here is that this bullish belt hold line is appearing after a downtrend. So it's a much more powerful pattern to act as compared to bearish belt hold line, which appeared over here, but after a weak uptrend rather than a strong uptrend. So this is a much more high conviction pattern that you can act upon. As you can see in the subsequent days, price rallied very sharply. The low of the bullish belt hold line was never broken in the next several days. What is interesting to note is that this entire uptrend that started following the emergence of bullish belt hold line ended with the appearance of bearish belt hold line, as you can see over here. Again, it's a classic bearish belt hold line wherein uh, the pattern is appearing after a very nice uptrend. You have opening that is very close to the day's high, and then you have a closing that is just above the day's low. So you have a tall bearish candle appearing after a strong uptrend. If you look at the prior 5 6 days price action, also price was in a very lateral kind of sideways range, which kind of warns that the buyers are possibly exhausted. And once the bearish belt hold line pattern appeared over here, then there was no looking back. The high of the bearish belt hold line was not broken in the subsequent day, and the low broke, which kind of signaled that we could see lower prices in HUL going forward. Then here is another bearish belt hold line that appeared in the following day. So there was, after this decline, there was a minor recovery, but that recovery ended with the appearance of bearish belt hold line, and we saw prices continuing lower. Then again, this downtrend was ended by the appearance of a bullish belt hold line, as you can see over here. This, however, is not so classic because the body is not so big. In a bullish or a bearish belt hold line, when I trade, I look for big bodies, just like over here and over here and over here. But in this case, the body was relatively small. Nonetheless, what is interesting to note is that it appeared after a nice decline, and in the subsequent days, price did not break the low of this particular pattern, this particular bullish belt hold line pattern. So that is something that's very powerful. And in the subsequent days, we saw strong rally in the price of HUN. Now, this is the 2 hourly chart of ICICI Bank. Uh, on the extreme left, as you can see, I've marked two candles over here. Now, the first of the two is a bullish belt hold line. As you can see, you have opening that's near the low, and then you have a closing that is above the midpoint of the entire candle. But this pattern is not worth acting upon because, as I said, a bullish belt hold line is a bullish reversal pattern that appears after a downtrend. But in case of this particular candle, the first of the two candles, the bullish belt hold line is appearing after a rally. So that's not a pattern to be acted upon. Uh, what is interesting to note is that in the immediately following candle, you have a bearish belt hold line where the opening is at the high of the day, is at the high of this period, which is 2 hours, and then you have a closing that is below the midpoint of this entire candle. So after a strong rally, you have a bearish belt hold line pattern that appear. Now this pattern is worth acting upon because it's a healthy bearish candle and it's appearing after a rally in price. So as we can see in the subsequent hours, the high of the high of the price, the high of ICICI Bank was not broken, and instead the low broke. And as you can see in the subsequent hours, price continued to fall. So once this pattern appeared, as you can see, there is a nice decline in the price of ICICI Bank, and in between you can see 2 3 bearish belt hold lines forming again. So this is a bearish belt hold line, this is a bearish belt hold line, this is a bearish belt hold line. However, what is interesting to note is that these bearish belt hold lines are not appearing after a rally in price. So preferably you must not act on these patterns, but this pattern, this bearish belt hold which appeared at the top, is a much more powerful pattern to act upon. Then again, if you look at the extreme right, you have a bullish belt hold line that appeared. I personally wouldn't prefer acting on this pattern because it's appearing after a rally in price, whereas the definition of a bullish belt hold line states that it should appear after a decline in price. So I personally wouldn't trade this, although in the subsequent candles price did go higher. So yeah, so that's about bullish and bearish belt hold line. A bullish belt hold line is a bullish reversal pattern, as you can see, with the opening near the low and the closing near the high of the period. Whereas a bearish belt hold line is a bearish reversal pattern with opening near the high and closing near the low of the period. Now, the logical extension of belt hold line is something that's called Marubozu. Again, it can be split into two parts, bullish Marubozu and bearish Marubozu. Now, a thing to note over here is that a Marubozu can either be a reversal or a continuation pattern. Each of the patterns that we have studied until now were either bullish reversal or bearish reversal. That is, they were reversal patterns, whereas a Marubozu can be a reversal or a continuation pattern as well. The image over here shows Marubozu as reversal patterns because, as you can see, in case of bullish Marubozu, the trend was down, then the Marubozu appeared and the prices started moving higher after it. So it's a reversal in this presentation, but in the real world, it could either be reversal or continuation. Now, what is a bullish Marubozu? It is a logical continuation of the bullish belt hold line. In case of bullish belt hold line, as I said, the closing happens to be slightly below the high of the period. But in case of a bullish Marubozu, the closing also appears to be near the high of the period. So let's take the case of a daily chart. In the daily time frame, how would a Marubozu appear? Uh, if it turns out to be a reversal pattern, it would appear after a decline in price, open with a gap down. That opening will be the low of the day. Then you have a very strong rally during the day, and the closing will be near the high of the day. So as you can see, there are no shadows above and below the real body. It's just the real body. The opening is equal to the low, and the closing is equal to the high. Whenever it appears as a reversal pattern, what you need to see is that in the subsequent candle, the low of the Marubozu should not break. And once the high is broken, you could consider placing a buy order depending on your risk reward, depending on your risk appetite. The opposite of bullish Marubozu is a bearish Marubozu. A bearish Marubozu is a single candlestick pattern wherein the opening is near the high and the closing is near the low. So it's a very tall bearish candle, which kind of suggests that for that particular period, sellers were in total domination of the market. It indicates a scenario wherein there was no buying pressure whatsoever and sellers were in total control for that period. For it to act as a reversal pattern in the subsequent candle, the high of the bearish Marubozu should not break, and once the low of the bearish Marubozu is broken, you can consider selling. Where exactly to sell, I'll talk about later. But let's first see how Marubozu, be it bullish or bearish, look like in real time chart. Now over here you have the daily chart of Kotak Bank. On the left, you can see a very nice bearish Marubozu form, wherein the opening was near the high of the day, and then you had a closing that was more or less near the low of the day. So it kind of signaled that this particular sideways trend has mostly ended. In the subsequent days, however, price did not trend as expected. It continued to remain in a very sideways range. But later on, as you can see, another bearish Marubozu form that had opening near the high and that had opening at exactly the high and closing very near the day's low. That was followed by a strong reversal in the price of Kotak Bank in the subsequent days. So as you can see going forward, the high of bearish Marubozu remained intact, but once the low pierced, we saw prices heading lower in the subsequent days. Now over here, another bearish Marubozu has formed, wherein the opening and the high are the same, and the closing and the low are the same, and it has appeared after a rally in price. Now this is the daily chart of HDFC Limited. HDFC Limited was in a minor downtrend initially, and then a bullish Marubozu formed over here. As you can see, open and low were same, close and high were same. However, the rally turned out to be quite minor. As you can see, the price rallied from just 2350, which was the break, which is the high of the bullish Marubozu, and went just till 2480. So it was a 130 or a 4 to 5% kind of move. Eventually, prices fell sharply. What is interesting to note is that that downtrend ended with the appearance of a bullish Marubozu candle, which is a very strong bullish Marubozu candle because it was very tall. The opening and low were the same, and the closing and high were the same. In the subsequent days, as you can see, the low of the bullish Marubozu never broke. Although price was in a lateral band, if you see from once a bullish Marubozu printed, it it rallied notably. It went up to 1930 kind of levels. Then within this consolidation also you can see two, three Marubozus appearing, bullish Marubozu. So that kind of signals a situation wherein the buyers are trying to take control of the market. So it's a bullish development that's appearing because you're seeing three bullish Marubozus appearing within a relatively tight band. So it kind of indicates a scenario wherein buyers are trying to take control of the markets following a strong decline in the price of HDFC Bank. Then the next pattern that we would be talking about is Doji. Now, put it in very simple words, Doji means uncertainty because as you can see in the images, in case of Doji, the open and the close are more or less the same. So you just have a body that takes the shape of a small horizontal line. Now, depending on where that body is situated, a doji could have different names. So, for instance, if the body is situated at the center, the doji is called long leg doji. If the body is situated at the top, it is called dragonfly doji, and if it is situated at the bottom, it is called a gravestone doji. So, as I said earlier, doji represents a situation wherein neither the buyers nor the sellers were in control for that particular period. It represents uncertainty. So, doji, if you look at it only by itself, then it could either be a reversal or a continuation pattern. In most of the cases, it turns out to be a continuation pattern unless it is appearing after a very strong rally in price or after a very strong decline in price. Most of the time, as I said, it turns out to be a continuation pattern. So how do you distinguish a doji? It has identical opening and closing, and depending on where that opening and closing is, whether is it at center or at the top or at the bottom, the name of the doji pattern will vary. Now this is how doji looks like in the real world. Now if you look at this on the left of your chart, you could see a doji wherein the open and close were the same. So after this downtrend, this doji appeared, indicating a scenario wherein for this particular period, now this is the daily chart of Bank Nifty. So for this particular day, there was uncertainty on the part of buyer and seller. So once this doji printed, you had no clue as to where the price would head going forward. So it is very important that once a doji forms, you have to wait for the emergence of subsequent candles before deciding to act. In this particular case, in the subsequent day, price gap down. You could also see there was a gap between the low of the doji and the high of the subsequent day. So there is a gap. So it signals that going forward, we could see lower prices. And as expected, price fell very sharply. Now, an interesting thing to note is that this downtrend ended with the appearance of a bullish belt hold line pattern, which you can also call it as bullish Marubozu, because the close is not far away from the high. So you could either call it Marubozu, bullish Marubozu, or you could call it a bullish belt hold line. Either ways, the appearance of this candle signaled an end to this downtrend. Then again, going forward, a doji formed over here after a minor rally in price, and the appearance of that doji signaled an end to this recovery. Now, how would I say so? Look at the subsequent day. Look at what happened in the subsequent day. After this doji appeared, there is a gap down. So it kind of signals that on this particular day, neither the buyers were nor the sellers were in control. But over here, because the price has gapped down, it signals that the sellers were in control for this particular period. And as you can see, going forward, we had a minor decline in price. Again, another doji pattern formed over here. Now in this particular case, this was a gravestone doji because the body is situated at the bottom rather than at the center, so it's a gravestone doji. In the next 2 days, the high of the doji was not broken, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, because price has entered into a minor consolidation, indicating continued uncertainty over here. So that's about doji. A doji could either be a reversal or a continuation candle. In most of the cases, it turns out to be a continuation candle, unless it appears after a very strong rally or decline, in which case doji could signal exhaustion. Key thing to remember is that because doji indicates uncertainty, you have to wait for at least 2 to 3 candles to emerge before deciding to act on the emergence of that doji. Now, this is the final pattern that we will be talking about in this webinar. It's called spinning top. It kind of resembles a doji. However, in case of a spinning top, the opening and the closing are slightly separated, because of which you can see the color of the real body. Now, again, depending on the color of the real body, the spinning top can be termed as a bullish spinning top or a bearish spinning top. If the closing is above the opening, then it's called a bullish spinning top, whereas if the closing is below the opening, as is over here, then it's called a bearish spinning top. Just like doji, spinning top could either be a reversal or a continuation pattern, but in most of the cases, it takes the shape of a continuation pattern rather than as a reversal pattern. Now, how is this candle structured? As you can see, it has a very small real body that is situated at essentially the center of the candle. So above and below the real body, you have shadows. Same is the case with a bearish spinning top. It has tall shadows on either side, and it has a small real body that is situated in the center of the candle. So be it a bearish spinning top or a bullish spinning top, a spinning top reflects uncertainty from buyers and sellers. In most of the cases, spinning top forms a part of two to three candlestick patterns rather than trading these patterns in isolation. So in our subsequent webinars, we will see that when it comes to dual candlestick patterns or triple candlestick patterns, one of the candle takes the shape of a spinning top. So it's not acted in isolation, but rather it's combined with two or more candles before a trading decision is made. So let's look at some real examples of spinning top now. Now this is the chart of MCX silver on the daily time frame. So as you can see, there is one spinning top that formed over here. It's a classic spinning top wherein the body is situated right at the center, and above and below it you have tall shadows or wicks. Now because the body is red, this is a bearish spinning top. In the subsequent day, if you can see, a, hanging man sort of pattern form. Now, why I call this hanging man is because it's appearing in an uptrend. So this qualifies for a hanging man. So these two patterns combined, spinning top that is immediately followed by a hanging man, indicates that price could find it difficult to break above the high of the spinning top. And as you can see in the subsequent days, the high of the spinning top was not broken and price fell sharply going forward. So here we could have used spinning top in conjunction with the hanging man, which is a bearish reversal pattern, to act upon. Then this downtrend ended with the appearance of another spinning top. It's a bearish spinning top because it's a red body. And in the subsequent day also, you have a tall bearish candle. So as of now, it signals that the downtrend is intact. But if you look at over the next 2 to 3 days, the selling pressure kind of stopped, and then you had a minor consolidation over these 4 sessions, wherein the price literally didn't do anything. And on the fifth day, you have a breakout above the high of these 4 days. So that kind of signals that the trend has turned from down to up. Also, if you can see, there is a small spinning top that appeared over here also. So in the vicinity of 4 to 5 candles, you have two spinning top that appeared after a downtrend. And on the fifth day, which is this one, you have a break above the high of the 4 day consolidation. So that signaled that this downtrend has probably ended, and going forward we could see rally in the price of silver. Then here you have two spinning tops that formed after three strong days of rally. So it kind of signaled a temporary pause to this uptrend. In the next 3 4 days, we have minor consolidation that took place before price broke above the high of these particular days. Then within this entire chart, you can see there are many spinning tops that appeared. So one spinning top is over here. Then here you had a series of 4 spinning tops. You had a spinning top over here. You had a spinning top over here. One thing that I would like to say is that spinning top is a very common candlestick pattern. In fact, it is actually one of the most common candlestick pattern that will keep appearing on chart. So you must not act on every spinning top that you see. As was the case over here, you have to combine it with the subsequent or with the nearby price action, and then decide whether should I trade based on the emergence of spinning top or not. Because it appears very frequently, kindly do not get into the habit of trying to trade every spinning top. Instead, it should be used in conjunction with other Japanese candlestick patterns or with other price patterns. So yeah, so that was the some of the most important single candlestick patterns that we had to discuss for today. Again, let us just revise what we saw today. So we started with hammer, which was a bullish reversal pattern. Uh, Now, a hammer, let's talk about the frequency of occurrence. Hammer appears quite frequently, but it is a very powerful candle that one can act upon. I would give it a rating of 8 out of 10. So whenever I see a very classic hammer candlestick pattern appearing, I would definitely consider trading it if price breaks above the high of the hammer. Now, when to exit a hammer, you enter, you take a buy position above the high of the hammer in the subsequent candle. And when you take a buy position, you place a stop loss below the low of the hammer. Hanging man, as we saw, is a bearish reversal pattern that appears after a rally in price. Frequency of occurrence in case of hanging man is low to medium. It doesn't appear so frequently. I would give it a rating of 6 out of 10 because if I want to sell, I would prefer a shooting star over a hanging man simply because a hanging man has body at the top. So between hammer and hanging man, as I said earlier, my preference is shooting star. So I would give it a slightly low rating. Now, where do you place your entry and stop loss? Entry will be below the low of the hanging man, while stop loss will be above the high of the hanging man. Inverted hammer, it's a bullish reversal pattern. Frequency of occurrence is low to medium. I would give it a rating of 6 out of 10. In fact, I would prefer trading on a hammer than on an inverted hammer. Entry again is above the high of the inverted hammer. So once that high breaks, you can consider placing a buy. And once you place a buy, the stop loss, that is the exit, will be below the low of the inverted hammer. Shooting star, it's a bearish reversal pattern. Frequency of occurrence is medium to high. It's a very significant pattern. Along with hammer, this is one of my favorite single candlestick pattern that I trade on. I would give it a rating of 8 out of 10. Entry is below the pattern's low, and exit is above the pattern's high. Similarly, you have belt hold lines. I would give a rating of 7 out of 10 for each of these patterns. Then you have Maru Bozu. I would give it a rating of 6 out of 10. Between belt hold lines and Maru Bozu, I would prefer acting upon belt hold line. The reason why I would do that is because Marubozu is a relatively very tall candle. So by the time the Marubozu completes, a lot of price action would already have taken place. But in case the pattern is very convincing, if the Marubozu pattern is very convincing, I will definitely consider acting upon it. Now, how I would place a buy order when a bullish Marubozu appears is slightly different than what we have seen earlier. So once a bullish Marubozu prints on the chart, I would wait for price to correct at least 40 to 50% of that Marubozu pattern. So if that Marubozu pattern has a certain length, I will wait for a 50% retracement of that. And once price corrects that, I will place a buy order by keeping a stop loss below the low of the bullish Marubozu. Same is the case with bearish Marubozu. I would give it a rating of 6 out of 10. And once a bearish Marubozu prints, I will wait for a minor recovery in price. Typically, that recovery would be somewhere to the range of 40 to 50% of the length of Marubozu. And once that minor recovery comes in, I would place a sell order by keeping a stop loss above the high of the bearish Marubozu. Doji and spinning top, again, I would give a rating of 7.5 to Doji because uh, it, it is a very significant pattern, especially if it appears after a very powerful uptrend or downtrend. In such a case, Doji indicates exhaustion, and we could see a very strong reversal once such patterns emerge. So I would give Doji a rating of 7.5 out of 10. Entry and stop loss, again, you can't place just on the basis of doji. You need to combine it with other candlestick patterns or western technicals. Spinning top is one of the patterns that I don't trade so frequently, and whenever I do, I ensure that I trade it in conjunction with other candlestick patterns or other western technical tools. I would give it a rating of 5 out of 10, so that's the lowest in my single candlestick rating. Entry and exit, just like doji, I don't act just on the appearance of spinning top. Rather, I would combine it with 4 to 5 candles or with other Western technicals before acting. So, among the single candlestick patterns that we have talked about today, hammer and shooting star are one of the most powerful patterns, and whenever they appear, you can definitely consider trading them. After hammer and shooting star, I would give a very strong rating to belt hold lines, because whenever these patterns appear, it is typically followed by a nice reversal in trend. Meanwhile, shooting star is the pattern that I would give the lowest rating, and I would wait for subsequent candles to form before deciding to act on the basis of spinning top. So finally, let's conclude the session by giving some trading suggestions of how to act when you spot a single candlestick pattern. The most important suggestion that I can give is wait for the candlestick pattern to print. Don't preempt a pattern completion. And once a candle is printed, act on the emergence of the subsequent candle. So the most important suggestion that I would like to give is that wait for the single candlestick pattern to complete and then only decide to act. Second is keep a watch on volume whenever possible. So if a single candlestick pattern is printed and if that candlestick pattern prints with an expansion in volume, then you have a double confirmation. So you can trade with much more confidence. As far as how to trade candlestick patterns, we have already talked about. We have already talked about at what price level to enter and where should we place a stop loss. We have talked about that. One thing that I would like to add over here is keep a watch on risk to reward ratio whenever you initiate a trade. Only initiate a trade when the risk to reward is attractive to you. If the risk to reward is not so attractive, then refrain from entering a trade. So that's it. That's all that I had to talk about for today. I would like to take questions if anyone has. So on the social media, I've just given my Twitter, LinkedIn handles and Quora handles over here. You could follow me if you want to. Uh, I would like to take questions now. Hello. Hello, Shubham.
Abhishek, hi.
Yes, yes.
Uh, Abhishek, you can check the Q&A tab over there. So you can take the questions, read the questions.
Play 1 minute. Where exactly is it? Ah, yeah, yeah. Q&A, got it. Okay. I'm using Files. It will be great if Fires provides CPR, that is Central Pivot Range and Charting tool. It will be very helpful. Okay, I'll see whether this would be possible. I'll speak with the concerned person over here. Widely the recording of this session. Okay, I'll speak with the people within my team, and uh, we will try to share the recording as well as the presentation with each of you guys. Can we get the recording? Shubham, are you there?
Yeah, Abhishek will upload the recording once the webinar is done on
Great,
the
great.
YouTube.
I'll share the presentation with each and everyone. So I'll do share it once we conclude today's
Abhishek,
webinar.
will take the questions related to our topic.
Correct.
Related questions will be taken up.
Sure. Will these work in 1 minute and 5 minute time frame? Yes, Prashant. As I said, candlestick patterns can be applied across time frames, be it 1 minute chart, 1 hour chart, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, you name it. You can apply it across all time frames. Any technical indicator to combine with these? Yeah, Gautam. In the subsequent, we will be coming out with three more webinars possibly on Japanese candlestick, wherein the agenda will be to talk about dual candlestick patterns, triple candlestick patterns, and combining candlestick patterns with Western technicals. So maybe in the fourth seminar, we will show you how to combine candlestick patterns with technical indicators, with trend lines, supports and resistances, and stuff like that. In lower time frames, how much concrete these patterns are and how much they can help in decision making. It's candles. The beauty of candlestick pattern is that a candlestick pattern that appears on, say, a 10-minute chart is as powerful and equivalent as a candlestick pattern that appears on the daily chart. The only difference is that uh, a, when a candle pattern appears on, say, 10-minute chart, the price objective, that is the targets that you would set in, will be smaller compared to, say, when you trade candlestick patterns based on daily time frame or weekly time frame. So the larger the time frame, the larger will be the stop losses and targets. But talking about how powerful candlestick patterns are on lower time frames chart, then I would say it is as powerful as it is on daily, weekly, or even monthly chart. So it's equally powerful across all time frames. What matters is just the target, how big the target is, and how big the stop loss is. That is what separates time frames. Should we have a look at volume as well? Yes, very much. So whenever now, for instance, if you're looking at say the Nifty spot index, then obviously you'll not have volume. But whenever you're looking at a stock, be it in cash or futures, or if you're looking at Nifty futures, then yes, you must get into the habit of looking at volumes as well. Because as I said during my presentation, whenever a single candlestick pattern prints, and whenever that is accompanied by an expansion in volume, then it provides a double confirmation kind of situation. So the conviction to trade will be much higher if the candlestick pattern has printed with an expansion in volume. So yeah, so wherever possible, please do combine volume with candlesticks. Inverted hammer and hanging man should consider for trading as there is psychology mismatch, or should someone focus more on hammer? As I said in my presentation, hammer and shooting star are a stronger reversal patterns than inverted hammer and hanging man is. Having said that, that doesn't mean that you should not trade inverted hammer and hanging man. You should give importance to other conditions as well. So, for instance, inverted hammer, as I said, is a bullish reversal pattern. If in the subsequent candle the high of the inverted hammer breaks, then you should consider possibly acting on the emergence of inverted hammer. So it's not that you must neglect them, but you should trade them with more caution. What time frame should we use for trading hammer or hanging man? Again, as I said, time frame does not matter. You can drill down to as small as, say, 1 minute chart, or even look at 1 month or 1 quarter chart. So time frame really does not matter. How to determine risk and reward while trading with candlestick? Now, this is a very interesting question. Now, the risk for candlestick is defined, as I said. So, for instance, in case of hammer, it's a bullish reversal pattern. I will enter once the high of the hammer is broken, and my risk is defined. I will place stop loss below the low of the hammer. But what is not defined is reward. Based on the candlesticks, you can't calculate what will be my potential target. For that, you have to use other tools. But risk is pretty much defined. So if a particular candlestick pattern that I trade on does not work well, I know where to exit. So in case of hammer, I know that I should exit below the low of the hammer. In case of, say, bearish belt hold line, I know that I must exit above the high of the belt hold line. So the risk is defined. For reward, you need to you need to use other tools. You can't project based just on the basis of candlesticks as far as reward is concerned. For long call, what time frame should be accurate? Again, that is Santosh, that is completely up to your discretion. You could it depends on how big of a trade you're trying to capture. So for instance, if you want to trade candlesticks say on monthly chart, then it naturally follows that your stop losses and your targets get bigger, because when you look at candlestick on monthly time frame, each candle shows the data, that is the open, high, low, close for each month. So the stop losses and targets are subsequently bigger. So it completely depends. The time frame that you should use completely depends on your style of trading. If you're an intraday trader, then you should frequently get into the habit of looking into 10-minute chart, 30-minute chart, 1 hour chart, etc. But if you're a positional trader, then you must focus more on daily and weekly charts.
Abhishek will take two, three questions since we are running out of time.
I think we are done most of it. The rest of the questions are more general. One last question that I would take is, can we use these patterns with moving averages, and how to use them? Again, as I said, I'll be holding three more sessions for candlesticks. So in the final session, I'll be talking about how to combine candlesticks with other indicators. So how to use candlesticks with moving averages, I'll show in that presentation. So that's it, I guess. Shubham, I think have addressed the questions.
Okay. Thanks, Abhishek, for joining us. Thank you all for joining us.
It was great presenting about single candlestick patterns with each of you. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll share my presentation with Shubham and the team, and they'll subsequently give the presentation to you all. Again, wish everyone a happy and a safe weekend and happy trading.
Thank you all.
Thank you.